Hi, I'm Margaret. You don't usually catch me on a Friday, but today is a special day. This video is for a fun, multi-channel challenge. It's called #Fireworks of Food 2020 Collaboration. The idea has been put together by Mitch and Philip, who've got a fantastic channel called The Kitchen Queers. Their channel is well worth a visit, and I'll put the link below for you. So, a big shout out to you guys, and here we go. The first thing to do is to put your milk on the stove to heat gently, but don't boil it. For this recipe, we need 6 egg yolks, so you know what to do with the egg whites. Make the meringues from last week. Next, we mix all of the rest of the ingredients together to make a thick paste. It's a bit like making an ordinary custard, except there are more egg yolks and a little bit more flour. This makes it a bit thicker, so it sits nicely in the flan cases. Now, we have to be careful that the eggs don't get warm too quickly. So we add the warm milk a little at a time. Once the mixture has loosened up a bit, we can pour it back into the pan, and we don't have to worry about the eggs getting curdled. Then we take it back to the heat to warm gently, stirring all the time until it thickens. There we go. It needs to cool completely before we use it, so I tend to transfer it into another bowl and then pop it in the fridge until I'm ready for it. If we cover it with cling film right on top of the custard, it stops a skin from forming. Now, this sweet crust pastry ends up a little bit like shortbread. There are a couple of things that make it this way. Firstly, we use semolina, and secondly, it's the way it's mixed. Instead of rubbing it in by hand, I'm using a mixer, and I'm going to mix thoroughly to make sure that the mixture ends up like dust. That way, we know the butter is completely mixed in. With all that mixing, and the weather being so hot at the moment, that butter's going to be really soft. So we'll need to get this mixture, pop it into cling film, and pop it into the fridge for at least an hour. So the butter can cool and the pastry's far easier to roll. I found a variety of flan tins in the cupboard, and I've also found these little stars. There's 3 of different sizes and they'll be just right for this job. That flan tin base makes a good pastry scraper. Remember that when you put pastry into a flan tin, it might often crack or there might be gaps, but it really isn't a problem because you can use the bits from the outside that you don't need to patch these up, and you really don't see it when the pastry's cooked. Now, I don't tend to butter the flan tin because there's so much butter in the pastry anyway, but one thing I do is I squash the pastry right into the sides to make sure it sticks and also to make sure that it's thin enough. A few holes in the base stops it from rising, and we do the same for the little flan tins. When you bake these, the stars will take a lot less time in the oven than the little tart cases. I'd say about 10 minutes for the stars, about 20 for the tart cases. They will need to cool completely. Then all you need to do is pop the creme pâtissière into the flan cases. Then place the fruit on top. And finish off with the little stars. Have a great Independence Day to everybody who's celebrating, and I'll catch you all again very soon.